are watching the ACC on ESPN. And we're ringing in the new year with women's basketball from the campus of Florida State University in the Donald L. Tucker Center. NC State and Florida State. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year's to you and yours. Tom Block, Melissa Bruner with you. NC State red hot off a monumental win over the top-ranked team in the ACC in Notre Dame, and their reward is they get to play the new top-ranked team in the ACC, the Seminoles of Florida State.
Yeah, NC State looking to pull off another huge upset. Had a big win over Notre Dame at home in their opener. Want to come on the road now and do the same thing here in Tallahassee.
One of the key players for this Wolfpack squad is a senior from Decatur, Georgia, Maya Spencer.
Maya Spencer is a scorer, but also a true point guard. She is in the top 10 in the ACC in assists, in free throw percentage, assist-turnover ratio. She looks to push the ball in transition, wants to score, and get her team out on the run.
Leticia Romero, her counterpart, the point guard for Florida State. Really nice floor game, sees the floor tremendously well.
Letty Romero played extremely well in the last 3 games for the Noles, averaging over 19 points a game, over 73% from the floor, 66 from the three-point line for Letty Romero in her last 3 games.
Let's take a look at the rest of the starters for these sides. And we'll get to those starters momentarily. There they are, in fact. Letty Romero with a couple other seniors out there. Brittany Brown, Ivy Slaughter, Shaquilla Thomas, a gifted player, and Amani Wright. Maya Spencer helped out by Ashley Williams, Chelsea Nelson, Jennifer Maturin, and Dominique Wilson. That's the first 5 for the Wolfpack of NC State, who are 11-3, 1-0 in the ACC, and that was a big win, as we mentioned, over Notre Dame. Florida State also 1-0 in the ACC. 13-1 overall, but the one win for FSU in league play was a big one as well because it was at Miami to open ACC play. Miami was ranked number 11 at the time. Yeah,
Florida State with a big win down in Coral Gables, went on the road to knock off in-state rival Miami. Final score down there, 81-66. So both teams looking to keep the train rolling here as conference play begins to start the new year.
Opening tip is going to be controlled by NC State, as this is the 43rd meeting all-time between the Wolfpack and the Seminoles. Maya Spencer handling the basketball right away. Does a lot of things, does a lot of them well for North Carolina State. Wolfpack with 17 on the clock as they will trigger it in from in front of the Florida State bench. NC State is coached by Wes Moore in his 4th season at the helm in Raleigh, but his 28th season as a head coach overall. So he's north of 600 wins during that lengthy coaching career.
Wes Moore, a coaching veteran, has done good things with this NC State program.
Shaquilla Thomas left alone at the free throw line. A little surprised, I think she was, that there wasn't a set of hands in her face, so she took the shot and hit it.
Yeah, Tom, I'll be curious to see how NC State chooses to defend Florida State. Against Notre Dame, they look to go under most ball screens, but as good as Florida State shoots the ball, I don't know if you can go under ball screens. NC State, though, very quickly answers. Nice job inside. Battle of the paint going to be huge for these two teams today.
That was Chelsea Nelson that got the equalizer, so Florida State back on offense, and here's Thomas again. Romero can shoot the 3. That's off the mark, but an offensive board. And finally corralled by North Carolina State. Ivy Slaughter had the board but couldn't get the putback, so now the Wolfpack can grab the lead.
These are two very good rebounding teams. That'll be another stat we're going to keep an eye on, Tom, is the rebounding totals for both teams.
Dominique Wilson and NC State will shoot from beyond the arc. That one was off the mark, and Brittany Brown lets it just sail out of bounds. 2-2 opening minutes here. Seminoles coached by Sue Semrau, now in her 20th season at Florida State. National Coach of the Year in 2015, a 4-time ACC Coach of the Year.
It's led the Seminoles to 11 of the last 12 NCAA tournament appearances, including a Sweet 16 appearance last year and an Elite 8 appearance the year before.
And has a team that's talented enough to check the box again for Sweet 16 and Elite 8. You never know how the tournament's going to go once you get into there, but this is a very gifted squad for Florida State, it would appear.
It certainly has looked that way so far. When you look at NC State, this is a very hungry NC State team. They were really the last team left out last year, did not get invited to the big dance and finished 10-6 in the conference. And Westmore and his squad want to prove something here this year.
That foul, the first of the game, was on Ashley Williams. Now Romero off the mark with the jump shot, and NC State clears the board again.
Looked like Williams got a hand on that basketball, maybe blocked the shot of Letty Romero.
So 2-2 as we're in the feeling out process, and going to have a foul underneath. Chelsea Nelson attacked, and I think that's on Ivy Slaughter.
It is going to be on Ivy Slaughter. Nelson just backed her down, old school style. Back to the basket, spins around, and a little bit of body contact apparently.
So the junior Nelson will go to the line.
Nelson lost a contact there. It looked like she ran right back, knew exactly where it was, found it, and going to put it right back in. Nobody needs solution. It's an expert there in Chelsea Nelson.
That was impressive.
That's very impressive. Not her first time putting those contacts in.
A little too strong there, and she's a 73% free throw shooter, averages 10 points, 6 boards per game. Goes 0 for 2, and there's Slaughter with the rebound. So we remain deadlocked at deuces here in the early stages from Tucker Center.
NC State, a very scrappy defensive team there. You see they've gotten their hands on a lot of basketballs, knocked that one away from Shakayla Thomas.
Slaughter tumbles underneath. Defense recovers in time to thwart the effort by Maturin.
ACC play, officials letting them go a little bit harder, a little bit more contact. Once you get into conference play, everybody battling hard in the paint.
Substitutions, our first of the night, as Shatrice White is on in place of Ivy Slaughter, who picked up the early foul for Florida State. Maria Conde also in there. NC State sticking with its first 5, and that's off the mark. Good tip by Shakayla Thomas. And now in transition. Good defense by NC State. Thomas's jump shot. Too strong, and NC State has owned the glass here in the early going. Slow start for Florida State and NC State from the field.
And nobody's shooting the ball very well right now. Florida State just 20%, 1 of 5. NC State 1 of 4 here in the early going. This was a defensive battle last year up in Raleigh. Neither team could score much. I believe the final was 56-52 last season. Letty Romero had to hit a couple of big shots for Florida State to get them the victory.
And she is the leader of this team. This is Romero right here, who's misfired on a couple of attempts in the early going, but shoots very well from beyond the arc. Good mid-range game. 3 on the shot clock. Conde spies that and nails it.
Maria Conde has had a quiet start to the season for Florida State. The sophomore from Madrid, Spain, knocks down a big shot for the Noles.
Averaging just 4 points per game. Opening few minutes, 4-2 lead for Florida State. Penetration and no whistle, so we go the other way. Florida State's Romero in transition, has to look behind to find some help. From the elbow, in and out on the jumper by Amani Wright.
Amani Wright shot the ball extremely well, and Florida State's win over the Hurricanes was looking to pick up where she left off. That's a big defensive play by Maria Conde there.
Maya Spencer, the senior, thought she had enough distance there, but the long Conde gets the block.
Maria Conde does have those really long arms that allow her to block shots like that. It's not as much space as you think.
Each team cold from the field. That is a 3-ball from straight away, netted by Ashley Williams.
Senior Ashley Williams shoots it extremely well, 42% from beyond the arc. That one was deep.
Fights over top of the screen. Brittany Brown, another senior for the Seminoles. Good defense by NC State. Brown Her shot is no good, and the rebound goes to Ivy Slaughter.
Good hustle play by Ivy Slaughter to win the 50-50 ball there on the offensive boards. Allows the Seminoles to retake the lead.
Each team shooting around 30% here in the early going as we seesaw back and forth. Next whistle will be the first media timeout here. 6-5 Seminoles right now. Shot clock goes underneath 10 seconds for Maya Spencer. Getting some help with the screen. Now 3 seconds as the shot is up and in. That is good work for Delson and NC State.
Florida State looked like they had everything well defending. Chelsea Nelson with a big shot to give NC State the lead.
There's a three ball that is buried by Shatrice White.
We haven't seen that much from Shatrice White this year, but she definitely has that kind of range.
9-7 FSU. What a luxury if your post player can step outside there and bury a triple.
Too strong there for Maya Spencer. Had to finish through some contact. NC State's done a nice job getting back in transition defense. Florida State has not really had any open looks in transition.
Ooh, fighting underneath. Good effort by White. She'll draw the foul and have some free throws. When we come back, her shot is the difference at the moment. Look at her stepping outside, foot beyond the arc. Florida State leads at 9-7. Our score. The difference thus far, a three-point shot from the top of the key from Shatrice White, who's headed to the free throw line. She is a junior, and it was a big bonus for Florida State as she transferred in that she was ruled immediately eligible. Had a double-double against Miami. Of course, when she was playing in the Big Ten, that was a regular routine for her.
Yeah, she was a double-double pretty much every night. 18 double-doubles, led the Big Ten last year, really coming into her own now. I think feeling comfortable now that ACC play has started. And she looked incredibly good against the Miami Hurricanes and looking good so far here tonight for Florida State.
Thomas comes in, Slaughter sits down. It's been a game so far where they have swallowed the whistle. Not that there's been anything egregious, but they're letting them play. As you pointed out, ACC basketball, 11-7 now. One team foul on FSU, 2 on NC State.
Again, I think if you're coaching in a game like this, you want to let the players fight it out and win. And as long as it's being called consistent on both ends, players adjust and coaches adjust.
I think what you just said would pretty much summarize the thoughts of basketball fans everywhere. Let the players decide the games, right? Three-point shot, NC State not shy to toss up the three ball, as I've pointed out. Been off the mark, save for one shot. Now FSU will look to add to its lead. Here's an open look for Florida State.
That's Nikki Akamu, just came into the game to provide a little depth at the guard spot. Akamu makes NC State pay. And then Akamu on the other end fouls Dominique Wilson, who found a nice driving lane to the basket.
So the team fouls even at 2. First foul on Akamu. A couple of three-pointers for Florida State have keyed an 8-0 run at the moment. But obviously that in jeopardy with Wilson at the stripe.
And Wilson, a very good free throw shooter, 81% on the season for NC State. One of the tops on the team.
That stops an 8-0 FSU run. Transferred from Arkansas. Led the pack in scoring in that upset win over Notre Dame last week, or last time out. Kayla Thomas opened the scoring for Florida State. He's going to call her own number here. Couple of tries with a board in between. Could not convert. So the Wolfpack in transition. Open three. Good shot. Buried by NC State. That's Aislinn Koenig.
That's why Aislinn Koenig is in the game. 71 of her 106 shots have been from beyond the three-point line. She's put in for one reason.
So an 8-0 run by FSU, followed up by a current 5-0 run by NC State. Look at that effort for Shatrice White.
Some emotion from Shatrice White as well. She doesn't mind the physical play, banging inside.
Third team foul on the Wolfpack. I mean, that was just I'm getting fouled, I'm going to throw this up. She knew she'd get the whistle. Getting the shot was a bonus.
Yeah, just a hustle play there by Shatrice White.
That foul was on Spencer, I believe.
It's 8 points already for Shatrice White here in the first quarter. 8 of the 17 for the Noles.
Spencer blows past Romero and then gets her shot blocked by Romero. She lost track of the trailing defender.
Florida State trying to get the ball inside. And again, officials letting them battle it out inside. That was Dee Rogers that took the ball away from Ivy Slaughter.
Good job defensively by Shakayla Thomas to come over the top, get the knockaway. And that's a tough pass that's lost out of bounds by Slaughter.
I like the idea that time by Amani Wright to try to go over the top and get an easy bucket, but that you said it exactly correct, that's a tough catch to make running full speed by Ivy Slaughter.
Here's Romero from behind. She does a lot of things. Blocking shots isn't normally at the top of the list, but she'll take that one. Spencer, the senior for the Wolfpack, and
nice move there. Brittany Brown trying to make her use the double high ball screen, but Maya Spencer just a little too quick. Gets to the rim.
Florida State with really good depth, which we've seen displayed already, as Brown will take the three. And Degbion is in there, and she's fouled as she gets the rebound. It's going to be on Dee Rogers, I believe.
Ama Degbion, another post player in for Florida State to provide some depth in the paint. Battling hard, out jumps Dee Rogers for that one.
And another foul as Florida State goes right to the rim, and Slaughter will get some free throws.
Time Slaughter much stronger with the basketball, took it right at Dee Rogers. Couldn't quite finish, but gets to the free throw line, where she's been exceptional this year. 87% from the line is Ivy Slaughter.
Well, we've talked about it. Slaughter is not going to be the headliner when you pull out the stat sheet. But I bet when opposing teams pop in the game tape, despite the players who may average more points, her hustle is going to get the attention of everybody.
You're exactly right. I think her defense as well. Folks know her that, she is going to give you everything she's got down on the low block and make it really difficult to score. I think players like Brown and Slaughter for Florida State, who've been here in the lineup for the last 4 years. Coaches in the ACC will be happy to see those two graduate this season.
Florida State keeping a close eye on the three-point assassins for NC State at present. And Spencer comes to get the ball with 10 on the clock now. The pass is stolen away by Romero. Florida State can't run the entire clock down, but about a second differential for all practical purposes they can if they choose to do so. Monty Wright with a good catch, fires. And that's a heady play by NC State to save it off of Wright. 6.5 seconds left for the Wolfpack.
Smart play by the senior Maya Spencer there. Knew she was going to fall out of bounds, just bounces it off Amani Wright's leg. 6 seconds left here. See if NC State can get a look.
Oh, not only is she going to get a look, she's going to get a layup. Wow. Florida State with a defensive breakdown as the first quarter comes to an end.
I think everybody expecting Maya Spencer to pull up and hit a jumper, and she knew she could take it all the way to the rim and finished.
So a 3-point difference as we move to period number 2 here in Tallahassee. Well, that's a good way to ring in the new year, although he missed the dunk attempt right there, but I think he's got another effort.
I think it's because he's got that Miami sweatshirt on. He's confused where he is.
Hey, at the buzzer, Shot was up and good. You can see it was clearly through the hoop before the red light came on. So there's no question there. Just a breakdown for Florida State or some confusion about the defensive rotation.
Yeah, it's a great play by Maya Spencer. It looked like Florida State was expecting her to pull up and take the jumper. No help side there as some nice ball screens being set by NC State. Well executed by Wes Moore and his squad.
Florida State doesn't finish the first period all that strongly. Credit NC State there. A 3-point difference as we begin the second quarter of play. Here is Conde. So that's a tough pass. And the arm wrestling ensues. This is going to go to NC State with the arrow.
Sue Semrau going to bring in a couple new post players off that. Ivy Slaughter just gave Alma Degbian a little bit too hard of a pass to handle there. Maybe a little too unselfish. Slaughter probably could have taken that herself if she wanted to.
So the Wolfpack have Koenig handling the basketball right now. Down 3, they'll shoot a 2, and that was a good-looking shot from the moment it left the hands of Dominique Wilson.
Dominique Wilson has the green light to put it up anytime she wants. Has the most attempts of anybody on the NC State roster. Good hustle play by Shakayla Thomas there to finish off the offensive rebound. She's got 4 points now for the Noles.
Lead back to 3. Koenig, a freshman. And FSU switches defensively. 12 on the shot clock.
Florida State nearly came up with the steal, and then NC State making the hustle plays.
They'll get another chance to reload, though they won't need much time on the clock because that's a lethal 3-point shooter who misfired. She was all alone at the top of the key. You didn't need to tell Koenig twice to pull the trigger. Here's Conde, who will do the same. That is way off the mark for Maria Conde. Florida State, very slow start from the field tonight, though they lead by 3.
Florida State definitely not shooting the ball anywhere near their average, just 35% from the floor. They average 48% from the field as a team.
A glance over to Coach Wes Moore. The play signaled in, and good-looking shot, but it was a little bit short for Wilson. So it's Florida State in transition again. The Wolfpack back defensively. Conde underneath. Needs some space, and Florida State will reload. Offensive foul on Florida State. I believe I was screened by the official there. But
yeah, Ashley Williams is one of the best charge takers around. Does a nice job there sliding in front of Shatrice White, sacrifices her body. Doesn't really give Shatrice White much room to land.
They've been stuck on 21-18 for a couple of trips here. Been good defense both ways.
Yeah, these are two of the better defensive teams in the ACC statistically.
Skip pass. NC State won't take that 3. They'll drive to the rim instead. Great bounce pass, and the layup is up and good. What a find as Chelsea Nelson had position, and it's a 1-point game.
Yep, nice assist from Dominique Wilson there.
The seniors for Florida State have been quiet thus far. The senior guards, Romero and Brittany Brown, who are playing catch right now. Here's Brittany to Romero with as good a look as she's had all game, and right on cue, she knocks home the 3.
Nice unselfish play there. Brittany Brown draws 2 defenders, kicks it out to a wide open Letty Romero, who makes NC State pay. See if Dominique Wilson can answer.
Gonna draw a foul right there on Thomas.
Thomas normally defends more in the post, having to step out and guard on the perimeter there. A little bit too much body contact. Be her first personal foul. Team's second of the quarter.
So Koenig triggers it in. Dominique Wilson has 4 points in 12 minutes of action so far as she moves from one defender to the next. Shatrice White defensively doing a nice
Blocked
job.
by Shatrice White there from behind on Maturine. And it's going to be a shove on Dominique Wilson. Good piece of officiating there. Saw the little extra contact as Amani Wright was trying to get to the rim. Take a look at that last possession here. Shatrice White from behind.
It's a good job.
Yeah, does a nice job of body control, avoiding the contact. You can see her back arched, making sure there was no body contact. Got her hand on the ball, knock it away.
Brittany Brown with a crossover, can't shake the defender. Step back, long two is off the mark. 4-point lead for Florida State. Wilson going right to the basket though. Almost an and one opportunity. She was too quick and ahead of the FSU defense.
Yeah, great aggressive take from Dominique Wilson, taking it coast to coast. Just gets a step on Letty Romero. And a little too much contact from Romero.
So back to the charity stripe. Wilson, an 81% shooter from Powder Springs, Georgia.
Wilson with 5 points now. Perfect from the line so far. Got a couple of assists and a rebound as well. Nice overall game from the senior.
So you got to credit NC State. They've got a very tough start to the ACC schedule, although you could probably, that was a good backdoor cut. Layup wouldn't go down. Probably say that about any team in the ACC because the league is so talented. But the Wolfpack drawing Notre Dame, Florida State, Miami. That's an opening 3 games against top 14 clubs in the ACC. And coming on the road, not intimidated against a very good Florida State team here tonight.
No, certainly a confident NC State group coming off of that big win. Just Notre Dame's second loss ever in ACC play.
Wolfpack misfires, and the Wolfpack can tie or take the lead. Midpoint of our second quarter. Koenig with not enough room to get that shot off, and now a deflection, but a foul is going to be called, I believe, in there.
It's going to be a foul on Alma Degbian, who's trying to get around Chelsea Nelson.
So she picks up her first foul. Letty Romero with a 3-point shot. That's about the difference in the game right now. Knowles up a deuce. Good ball game tonight between Florida State and NC State. The Wolfpack just outside of the top 25 after that big win over Notre Dame. Dominique Wilson had 18 points in that upset win, just the second loss for the Irish in ACC play, and led team in scoring a year ago with that 15 points per game average.
Yeah, picking up right where she left off. Already has 6 points here today to lead her team.
And her team has a chance to tie or take the lead right here. They'll fire up a 3, going for the lead. It is off the mark, out of bounds, and it's going to stay with the Wolfpack.
Shatrice White going to come back into the game.
It's been over 2 minutes since either side has hit a field goal in this game. Well, so much for that, says Maya Spencer as she ties us up.
Yeah, Maya Spencer, the senior, takes matters into her own hands there, gets some good dribble penetration into the paint. It's a nice little floater to tie this game up at 24.
4:37 to play till halftime, and this game a little bit like last year's game that went down to the wire.
Very much so. It was a low-scoring affair, kind of a defensive battle, and that's, I think, what we're seeing here so far. 2 very good defensive teams.
Romero to White. Her shot too strong. White's the leading scorer for FSU tonight. In transition, here come the Wolfpack for the lead.
That's Chelsea Nelson, the athletic post player, showing that she's got some moves there to finish on the run.
Kayla Thomas. Her shot way off the mark. Saved by NC State.
Florida State just rushing some shots now. A little bit too quick there from Thomas. Maya Spencer ran over her own teammate and still scored the bucket. Sue Seminoles going to call a timeout here.
Well, NC State has gone up by 4. Florida State led by 7 at one point in this game. Since that time, huge run for the Wolfpack.
Yeah, nice play there to finish. Spencer there, you see, finishes over Amani Wright, knocks over her own teammate in the process, and gives the Wolfpack a 4-point lead. Florida State, 0 of their last 5 from the floor. No points in the last 3 minutes. Florida State shooting the ball poorly as well. Just 31% from the floor, 8 of 26.
A 16-5 run for the Wolfpack, and that factors in a little bit of a breakdown at the end of the first quarter. Florida State took a shot with 8 seconds left in the quarter. They could have held really for the last shot. Didn't score. NC State came down and with a defensive breakdown scored a bucket at the end of the first period, and now they've carried that momentum into the second quarter here. All that said, it's a 4-point game, and we've got a lot of basketball to play tonight.
Yeah, Florida State's got to find a way to get an easy shot, see if they can get something in the paint here. Monty Wright with a good look there off the ball screen as well to get Florida State back and stop the NC State run.
Monty Wright's first points of the night. There's Wilson again trying to answer. Oh, that goes in and out. Telegraph pass by Brittany Brown, and now it's 2-on-1 for the Wolfpack. And one on the hesitation. Great move from Koenig.
Aislinn Koenig there gets Brittany Brown up off her feet and then able to finish through a little bit of contact. Let's take a look.
You know, you see that a lot where the player who commits the turnover is trying so hard to make amends that 9 times out of 10 it leads to a foul call like that, as this is the Wolfpack's biggest lead.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Brittany Brown there was trying to make the big play to get the ball over to her teammate Letty Romero, and Koenig read it perfectly, baited her into it a little bit. Good piece of defense by the freshman.
Romero dribbles into traffic and then out of it. 7 on the shot clock now as White fumbles it away.
It's good defense there that time by Chelsea Nelson. Got her hand on the basketball. Florida State just looking a lot of out of sorts on the offensive end.
Well, you got to credit NC State for how they've played defense. From the free throw line, that's off the mark, and Florida State will grab the loose ball.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. NC State, probably the best defensive team that Florida State has seen so far this season.
Romero with a big steal, and she'll get the layup, and maybe that'll spark the Seminoles a little bit.
Big play there from Letty Romero off the miss, goes down and comes up with the steal. Westmore not happy. I'm not sure if he's not happy with the officiating or not happy with Maya Spencer. This crowd back into it now here.
Still a one-possession game right here with under 2 to play.
That foul going to be on Shakayla Thomas there. Matarine put it on the floor, drew the contact. That is 5 team fouls on Florida State, so Matarine will go to the free throw line. Shoots at 81% from the line so far this season.
Shooting 2 here. Makes it a 2-possession game.
It's 2 fouls on Shakayla Thomas, so Sue Seminoles has to take out her All-American candidate. Thomas brings back in Ivy Slaughter.
Knocks them both down, and the lead goes back to 5. Florida State shooting just 34.5% from the field this game.
And again, that's a credit to the type of defense that NC State is playing. They are very aggressive on the defensive end, making it difficult for Florida State to really get an open look at the basket.
That was a contested 3, right? Left it just short. Wolfpack can add to their lead.
Monty Wright there, just a little bit too physical Dominique Wilson going to go back to the free throw line where she's perfect so far, already 4 of 4 from the line. Just 1:13 left to go in the second quarter here. Florida State finds himself down. Florida State has yet to trail at halftime this season. This would be the first.
NC State trying to do something they last did in 2007, and that's post back-to-back wins over top 10 teams.
Would be another statement win for NC State.
Well, the victory over Notre Dame opened eyes, and this would pry them open with toothpicks. The Noles led by 7 at one point. 14-point swing since then as the Wolfpack up 7. Crowd is very quiet here at the Tucker Center. We approach halftime. Noles trying to get a bucket. White had some success early on, and she gets into double figures here as she hits that bucket.
Keela Mays at 6'5", the tallest player on NC State's roster. Still didn't have an answer for Shatrice White.
That's a tough shot, and now Florida State, with a good possession, can creep a little closer. About a 4-second differential here, game clock and shot clock, and let's see how the end of quarter management works for Florida State this time around. White inside. Not able to hit, and the Wolfpack will have plenty of time now with 10 seconds left. Looking at the clock is Spencer, who beat the buzzer at the end of period 1. Calling for help, Wilkins. The kick out, a 3 at the horn is no good. But for the first time this season, Florida State trails at intermission. Impressive showing from the Wolfpack. They trailed 19-12 at one point, but they're up 5 at the break. Back at the Tucker Center, the visitors from Raleigh on top of Florida State, 35-30. NC State trying to make it back-to-back top 10 wins as they're coming off that victory over Notre Dame. They've been impressive. They've done it with defense against Florida State tonight.
Yeah, NC State's defense has been extremely impressive. They've made it very difficult for Florida State to get open looks, and you'll see that they knock down some big shots as well.
Well, Florida State has been caught defensively more than a time or two in terms of not getting the right rotations, and this one beat the first quarter buzzer.
Yeah, Maya Spencer has had a lot of open looks. Dribble penetration really hurting Florida State. That time NC State outrunning in transition. Chelsea Nelson beating everybody down the floor.
Florida State has shot a little bit better than NC State from beyond the arc, so that's kept them as close as they are. Do have the rebounding edge, but going to need more consistency and more open looks like that one for Romero to get back into this.
Yeah, NC State, again, their defensive pressure is as good as anybody that this Florida State team has seen. Florida State going to have to work a little bit harder on the offensive end to get better shots.
It's the only time this season Florida State has trailed at the half. Second half play coming up from Tallahassee. ACC play tonight as we ring in the new year. First half stats from FSU. North Carolina State on top by 5. Florida State with the rebounding edge and has shot better from beyond the arc. But the turnovers and the defense, which you don't see the overall shooting percentage, is really why NC State has got the lead here.
NC State has forced those 8 turnovers and created those into 9 scoring opportunities, 9 points off of those turnovers for Florida State. Mentioned the defense for NC State on the season. Field goal percentage defense, they allow teams to shoot just over 33% a game, and that's about what they're doing here to Florida State. This is what's allowed them to get out to a 5-point lead.
Well, we saw a look of consternation certainly on the face of Sue Semrau there, so we'll see after the halftime talk and regroup how Florida State responds here. The Noles number 6 in the country as of the AP poll that was released earlier today. And that's a good shot by Amani Wright, which ties the highest ranking in school history for FSU, and also currently the highest ranked ACC team, but they certainly want to stay there. There's a knock away from Brittany Brown, and so just 24 seconds in, it looks like that intensity level has been ratcheted up a little bit.
Good energy so far from Florida State. It was a good first offensive possession, an in-rhythm shot, and some good defensive energy there from Brittany Brown.
Williams triggers it into Maya Spencer, who's such a key player for NC State. Got a three-point ball game right now. Here's a three-pointer from in front of the NC State bench. No good, and tracked down by Ivy Slaughter, who always seems to be around the loose balls and the rebounds. FSU now can creep closer or tie this thing up as Romero runs the show. And here's Slaughter. Oh, her shot wouldn't go down, but there's going to be a tie-up to NC State. On the possession arrow. I thought Thomas had that.
Thomas looked like she did have the ball, and then give Chelsea Nelson some credit. She got a hand in there on it. Kayla Thomas definitely had some rebounding position. Players locked arms there. And again, officials have been consistent all game long, letting them play physical in the paint.
Spencer with a hook pass. And now back outside it comes. Thomas gambles and loses on that one, 37-32. Tried to get the deflection, and there was no help defense.
Yeah, Shakayla Thomas got to recognize whether or not she's got the help side defender there. Can't afford to go for that one. Amani Wright trying to do a little bit too much there. Gets the charge called.
It's her second foul.
It's Maya Spencer that time stepping in and taking the charge.
It's the Wolfpack up by 5, which was their lead at the break. Three-pointer from the wing.
Ashley Williams, deadly from beyond the arc, 42% on the season, knocks down her second three of the game for NC State.
NC State playing tremendous basketball right now as Florida State, 2 possessions in a row, really has forced a shot, and it's been Amani Wright. But now the Wolfpack can stretch this lead to double figures. Early stages of the third quarter.
Nearly a turnover there on Chelsea Nelson, but they're going to say Shakayla Thomas last touch that one.
Seen NC State a few times, including that last three-pointer. It's a cross-court true skip pass as they go from
It's going to be a hand check call there on Shatrice White. Chelsea Nelson looked at the official, thought that she was being whistled for something like, what did I do? It was, in fact, Shatrice White with 2 hands on the ball handler.
White's been the bright spot for Florida State today. She's got roughly a third of the points, 10 of FSU's 32 points.
If you're Florida State, I think you got to try to get the ball inside, give Shatrice White a touch in there, see if she can go to work in the paint.
Well, FSU's had the edge on the boards, and they have been perfect at the free throw line, but NC State with almost twice as many attempts. More than twice as many, in fact. I think you made the point. Florida State has not gotten out into transition at all.
Yeah, and that's where Florida State really is at their best, is when they can get stops and rebound, run, and NC State has done an exceptional job of getting back in transition defense, not allowing Florida State those easy looks.
Another three for NC State, just short, and Romero's got the rebound, but there's 3 red jerseys ahead of her.
I give NC State credit. They've been able to rebound the ball well and send 2 back and only send 3 to the offensive glass.
Here's Romero for 3.
Eddie Romero has been off today, down just 2 of 7 from the floor. Kayla Thomas with a big block, but too much body contact. Maya Spencer goes down hard.
Third foul on Thomas. See if Spencer's okay. She is.
Thomas just a little too rough. Wants to make sure that Spencer doesn't finish that, but Thomas got to recognize she's already got those 2 fouls. That third one going to send her to the bench now as Ivy Slaughter back in. Set to check back in for Florida State.
Miss on the first free throw. Thomas sits down with just 4 points, 6 rebounds.
And Thomas just 2 of 7 from the floor for Florida State. Spencer knocks down that second free throw to extend this lead to 9 for the Wolfpack.
Biggest lead of the game for NC State. And so far, the third quarter has been a continuation of what we saw in the second, and that is NC State doing a better job defensively. Florida State taking some bad shots.
And again, you said it, give NC State credit for the defense that they've played, making it difficult for Florida State to get open looks. But Letty Romero gets an open look there, and that gets the Florida State bench excited.
Well, that was patience, that possession. Almost one too many passes, but Romero knocks it down, and that brings the crowd back into it for the moment. Spencer's been tough for Florida State to deal with.
Florida State with a little 2-3 zone, and NC State with the turnover, and then Ashley Williams steals it right back from Brittany Brown.
Brown falls off of Spencer.
Nelson trying to do what Shatrice White did earlier, which is shoot it from your knees.
Yeah,
White wasn't been fouled, yeah.
She wasn't underneath the backboard when she tried it, however. She had no options there, and yeah, there might have been a foul. But again, they've been consistent with that. The whistles have not blown a ton tonight either way.
And again, it's what you expect in ACC play. Officials letting them play. It's a physical game.
There's another three.
Monty Wright now, he's starting to heat up from outside.
Back-to-back threes have made it a quick 6-0 run for FSU.
There's a steal for Florida State. It's going to be a tie-up, and that'll be a Florida State basketball. This 2-3 zone switch that Florida State has made has caused NC State into a couple of turnovers. NC State looks a little bit disorganized now on the offensive end against the zone.
So 5:14 to play here in the third quarter. Number 6 FSU in a dogfight tonight as NC State had the halftime lead. They continue to lead right now. Brittany Brown, her shot won't drop. It's out of bounds to NC State.
Ivy Slaughter diving hard on the ground. They're going to say she's the last one to touch it.
Meanwhile, 3-pointers by Romero and Amani Wright. Florida State right back in it. Welcome back to FSU. Sue Semrau and her staff, the FSU Women's Basketball Brain Trust, trying to solve the mystery that is a very good NC State team.
I think they've started to solve that with the switch to the 2-3 zone. I like that call from Florida State, mixing it up defensively, trying to get NC State out of rhythm on the offensive end. Florida State has looked a little more patient on the offensive end as well in their last 2 possessions on this little 6-0 run.
Brown trying to keep up with Maya Spencer. Senior on senior. 10 on the shot clock right now. Florida State doing a nice job defensively. And now a rarity. Maybe FSU can get some points in transition. We'll see. Wright to the rim, banks it in.
Nice left-handed move there from Amani Wright. Right at the front of the rim off the glass. Gets the crowd up on their feet here at the Tucker Center.
It's an 8-0 run for FSU following their biggest deficit of the season at 9 points.
That one going to be airmailed into the first row of seats. Letty Romero going to come back into the game. Brittany Brown going to catch a little breather. Sue Semrau not going quite as deep into her bench here in the third quarter.
Now Romero to the rim. And Florida State leads.
It's a 10-0 run for the Noles. Started off by the 3 by Letty Romero, and Wes Moore now wants to call a timeout.
A 10-0 run by the number 6 team in the country. A pretty good response to that biggest deficit of the season. And Looks like we're headed to the wire in this one. 42-41 as Florida State seesaws back in the lead. It's been quite a run, a 10-0 run for the Noles. A couple of three-pointers in the mix. Nice lefty layup. Monty Wright had, in my opinion, taken some shots a little too early in previous possessions, but right at the right time during this run, and Letty Romero right in the middle of it as well.
Yeah, agreed. Both Letty Romero and Amani Wright looks much more in rhythm on those shots, which is probably has something to do with why they knocked them down.
So NC State, after the timeout by Wes Moore, what's their response? Well, not a good one on that.
A little quick that time by the freshman Koenig, maybe trying to make something happen.
Romero was so clutch for Florida State a year ago when these teams met. Stepping up of late for Florida State and rattles another one home.
Letty Romero calling her own number that time. Was trying to get the ball over to teammate Amani Wright, who was covered well by Dominique Wilson.
Here comes the three for NC State, no good. And now Florida State in transition. Romero again.
A lot of contact there. Shatrice White finishes through the contact from Akila Mays. Florida State extends it to a 12-0 run.
Make it 14-0.
14-0 after that last made bucket. Excuse me, stat monitor had not updated yet.
I think you're right, though. The bigger change has been the defensive switch. Since Florida State made that change, NC State's been a little bit out of sync offensively.
That one looked halfway down for Aislinn Koenig. Florida State getting all the breaks right now. NC State, no points in the last 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
That's off the mark left, but even the loose balls are going to Florida State. Not this time, now a run out. Monty Wright will pick up the foul, and NC State will get some free throws to stop the bleeding. That'll be the third foul on Wright.
Good recognition by Koenig there to stop the dribble penetration right at the ACC and dish to her teammate. Dominique Wilson can't finish through the contact. She does a nice job, though, initiating the foul from Amani Wright.
Wilson tonight has 8 points. Make it 9, and 7 of those are from the free throw line. She's 1 of 8 from the field and 7 of 7 from the stripe.
Now Wilson has done a really nice job, again, of drawing that contact, getting herself to the line where she's been perfect so far.
You know, Florida State with just 5 free throw attempts tonight, and they're one of the best of the country in getting to the line and outscoring their opponents from the line.
Yeah, a little bit surprising. The Noles really have not been able to get to the line very much here today against a very aggressive NC State team.
But a 14-0 run has them up by 3 as we wind down in the third quarter. Brittany Brown spelling Romero, and here's Shakayla Thomas playing with 3 fouls. She hangs, cannot hit, but Brown gets the rebound and is hacked.
It's the first foul of the quarter called on NC State. Crowd lets the officials hear it. Brittany Brown, nice job of offensive rebounding there. That foul on Dominique Wilson, I believe.
Here's Thomas off the inbounds.
Kayla Thomas just unable to connect, getting some really good looks. Now 2 of 9 from the floor is Thomas. In Florida State in a 2-3 zone here, mixing it up a little bit.
And the Wolfpack with a 5-0 run have tied us up. It's an entertaining game tonight at the Tucker Center.
Some great basketball here being played early on in ACC play.
This is the second made field goal of the game for Wilson. Romero back in for FSU. She was not squared up at all there, but Florida State will keep it. 6 on the shot clock. Brown will take the 3, and she buries it.
Brittany Brown had to shoot that. Great recognition by the senior. The shot clock had not reset. Brown recognized it, called her own number, knocked down a huge 3 to give the Noles a lead.
So the shot clock off. The Wolfpack can play for the last shot right here. But it's knocked away, and now, and Shakayla Thomas tries to save it, but cannot. Wow.
Bad break for Florida State there as Thomas had the run out and the easy lay-in, just tipped it a little too hard. Now NC State with one more chance with just under 12 seconds left.
Koenig and company. The chance to tie here. Long 3 is up, in and out. And 1.5 left for the Wolfpack to try once more. It has gone from physical to full contact here in the last few minutes.
Lots of college football games being played, and it looks like some football going on out there. It is rough tonight here at the Tucker Center.
FSU outscores the Wolfpack 19-11 in the third, though, to take the lead into the final frame. It must be conference play because this thing's been a chess match so far tonight. Florida State had a 7-point lead, then a big run by NC State. FSU back on top for the moment, but long season ahead, and you can see the plethora of ACC teams bunched up at the top of the AP Top 25. NC State receiving votes now after upsetting Notre Dame. Florida State has Louisville and Duke in coming weeks, just beat, or coming days really, just beat Miami.
Stoppage of play here. I think there was a cameraman still on the court. Officials recognizing that and sending him back to the baseline. Officials here hearing it from the Tucker Center crowd. That's going to be on Chelsea Nelson. Ran over Ivy Slaughter. Again, their post players just battling it out inside, and a little bit too much contact that time by the junior Chelsea Nelson. Florida State has not really been able to get Ivy Slaughter any easy looks inside. Senior just 4 points tonight.
Well, limited free throws have kept her points down too, as we've talked about. So now we're going to get a 3-second violation the other way. So matching offensive turnovers here gives it back to NC State and Maya Spencer.
Florida State switching it back up, playing a little man defense here to start the fourth quarter. Couple of freshmen here on the wing. Aislinn Koenig with the big shot.
Step back 3, and we're even at 49. Big time 3 from Koenig.
NC State, again, looking to knock off the top dog in the ACC. They did it once already last week in Notre Dame. Trying to do the same here on the road in Tallahassee. That foul that time on Ashley Williams. Too much contact as Brittany Brown had gotten by her.
There's Slaughter, and she shoots it too strong. Sort of an in-between tough shot right there. So the Wolfpack can reclaim the lead. Koenig thinks about another 3, and now NC State will work its offense. Good look inside, good job. FSU might have to switch the defense back.
Yeah, good job by Chelsea Nelson there to get some inside post position. Florida State too concerned about the guards that time, allowed the entry pass inside.
Here's Romero for 3. She's got it again, and the Noles go back up 1.
After a cold start, Letty Romero is heating up here 15 points, 3 of 5 from beyond the arc for Florida State.
On the free throw line.
Matarine with a big shot there from 15 foot.
This is entertaining, and that's
great basketball here.
Really good
Kentucky
basketball. 1 point difference. One thing Florida State's doing is Romero will handle it here, but when you have Brittany Brown out there, you can get Romero off the ball to free her up for some threes.
Matarine that time. A little bit too much contact on Ivy Slaughter. Officials seem to be tightening it up a little bit here in the post.
Third foul of the quarter called on NC State. Romero again. In and out, but she gets the rebound.
She got hit in the face, too. She's holding her mouth. So Treese White there at point blank range, just couldn't quite finish for Florida State.
All alone for three, buried by Ashley Williams.
Anytime Ashley Williams has been left open, she's knocked it down. That's 3 threes, perfect on the night for the senior Williams from Cary.
She and Koenig can shoot it for NC State. 4-point edge for the visitors. Under 7 to play.
It's going to be a foul on Koenig. It's a 4th team foul already on NC State after they had just 1 last quarter.
Brown from up top, and her 2 is good.
Brittany Brown starting to heat up a little bit too after that last 3 to end the quarter.
All alone, down low, that's an easy look.
Florida State just got caught there again on the straight lane line pass. Down to Matarine.
.15 on the shot clock right now. Romero comes to get it, looks inside.
Treese White a little short there. Ivy Slaughter and Matarine battling it out. They're going to say Slaughter was the last one to touch it.
So 6:01 to play. Florida State down by 4. The Wolfpack resilient. Both teams have been resilient in this game as FSU is going to take a timeout. Each team has had a 3-possession lead, but they haven't been able to take it any further. Right now it's a 4-point difference, and this 3-point shot, big part of the reason why. Knocked down by Ashley Williams. Her Wolfpack up by 4. Florida State trying to scratch and claw its way back once more. A year ago in Raleigh, Florida State prevailed 56-52 in a game similar to this one. Letty Romero was the difference down the stretch. Tonight, it's the Wolfpack with a 4-point lead with 6:01 to play. Noles have led by 7. Wolfpack have been up by 9. A 14-0 run for FSU this half got them back in the lead, but the Wolfpack have responded and have the ball, a chance to add to what is already a 2-possession lead.
Florida State with some full court pressure here, mixing it up, throwing another wrinkle at the Wolfpack.
NC State handles it. Monty Wright settles in defensively on Ashley Williams. Williams has hit 3 3-pointers tonight in 3 attempts. Big shots.
Yeah, if you're Florida State, you better know where Williams is. Koenig as well.
5 on the shot clock now. Spencer recognizes it and delivers a dagger at 60-54 now for NC State.
Big play from the senior. Shot clock winding down. She makes Florida State pay.
Knew exactly where it was. Here's good pass for an easy shot for Slaughter.
Defense for NC State there knew that Romero's the deadliest shooter. Everybody looking that way. She finds Ivy Slaughter on the weak side for the open look in the paint.
Tell you what, Spencer has been a handful for Florida State tonight.
11 points, 5 of 9 from the floor.
5 rebounds and 4 assists, too. Koenig shot no good, but a putback.
Florida State not able to come up with a defensive board. Nelson continuing to battle on the boards. Letty Romero there whistled for a travel on the rebound.
And that's as much emotion as you're going to see out of the Spaniard and Romero.
Looked like Nelson got a hand on the ball, knocked it away. They said Romero possessed the basketball and walked with it. Another chance for NC State to build on their lead.
And now finally Florida State has it 3-on-2. Good extra pass. Romero won't take the three. Instead, she'll penetrate, draw the foul.
Be the first time that Florida State has been at the line in quite some time. Florida State also in the bonus with that last foul. Every foul from here on out will now be 2 shots for the Noles.
Foul was on Williams, so here is Romero. Romero was part of the silver medal Olympic squad earlier this year, representing her home country.
Romero also leading the ACC from the free throw line, knocks down 2 big ones there.
Makes it a 2-point ball game, brings the home crowd back into it. Maya Spencer, the senior, has been unfazed. Now she turns an ankle, however, or at least appears to. NC State gets a bucket anyway, but more significant, Spencer is gimpy.
She's waving off her coach, says, I don't want anybody, I'm good. And they're going to take Koenig back. Didn't see quite what happened there. Looked like she might have stepped on the foot of a player. Letty Romero goes down hard, too.
That was an amazing sequence to get a bucket out of that for NC State.
But Chelsea Nelson scores, too, regardless.
Chelsea Nelson, by the way, 16 points in this game. Brittany Brown for 2.
Florida State going to get whistled for the foul there. Ivy Slaughter thought she was blocking out. Got to be careful and keep those emotions in check in a game like this. I didn't see a lot of contact there. It's been a lot worse that has gone unnoticed. The officials have been tightening it up as of late.
So under 4 to play in a 4-point game. Spencer just turned her ankle, but looks fine right now. The Wolfpack have been so clutch. When they've needed a bucket, they've gotten it.
She's a competitor. She's not coming out of a game like this, and Brittany Brown just took a shot to the face.
Well, that
one hurts. That used to be an automatic technical foul when you led with the elbow like that. It was a flagrant. Brown waves off her coach just as Maya Spencer did earlier. Says, no, I'm okay. Let me play, coach.
So the turnover gives it back to Florida State. Oh, that's a tough shot for Wright.
Wright forced that one a little bit too much, was trying to draw the contact from Dominique Wilson.
NC State content to bleed the clock and shorten this game a little bit. Williams won't shoot the 3, but here, 3-point attempt is no good. Tipped out of bounds, it'll go to FSU. Well, where does Florida State need to go now? Down 4, 3:05 to play as Shatrice White checks back in.
I'll have to wonder if maybe they'll try to get the ball inside to Shatrice White. She'd had some success early on. Maybe some dribble penetration with a kick back out to Letty Romero if you can find her, although NC State has done a pretty good job as of late. Maya Spencer drawing that defensive assignment now.
But they are over the limit, so you don't even have to be shooting and you'll draw some free throws. Instead, top of the key, 3, no good.
Patrice White had hit one from that same spot on the opposite end of the court earlier. Just a little too strong there.
13 on the shot clock for NC State. Down to 2:30 in the game.
It's going to be a travel on Dominique Wilson as she was trying to do a little bit too much that time on the offensive end for NC State. Sue Seminoles going to call a quick 30-second timeout here to draw up a play. Here you see Dominique Wilson gets in there trying to get by Amani Wright and go over Shatrice White, shuffled her feet as she came to that jump stop.
White stepping in forced that travel there.
Yeah, it was good defense there by White, just coming in, being big.
Now double-double for Nelson, who, as I mentioned a moment ago, 16 points on 8 of 10 shooting. If I'm Florida State here, if you look at the last 2 possessions, they haven't gotten a touch for Letty Romero in either of those possessions.
Yeah,
and she's had the hot hand. I'm not saying she's got to shoot, but I think at some point in here, she's got to have the ball for a little bit as you run your offensive set.
Agreed, and I have to imagine that's probably why Coach Sue Seminoles whistled for that timeout. Wanted to set something up and get the ball into the hands of her senior All-American candidate in Letty Romero. But again, give Maya Spencer credit. She has been all over Letty Romero, making it difficult.
Romero with 17 points, has hit 3 triples in this game, and Spencer's on her right now as Brown handles the basketball. Now Romero comes to get it. On the deflection, Brown will try the 3.
Not sure that was the shot Sue Seminoles was looking for there.
2 minutes to play, NC State looking for back-to-back top 10 wins in the ACC. Big possession here is the home crowd chants defense. 12 on the shot clock.
Patrice White there with too much body contact. Chelsea Nelson uses her athleticism to get to the rim.
73% free throw shooter is Chelsea Nelson.
Nelson is 0 of 2, however, so far tonight. These are big ones for NC State. Nelson needs them.
Lead goes to 5. Florida State with 1 timeout remaining in this game and running out of time, down 5. It's 1 of 2.
If you're Florida State, can't afford to work too much time off the clock. Need to be patient to get a good look, but don't work the clock all the way down.
Brittany Brown looking for help, and FSU is being a little too deliberate as Romero goes. Her shot is altered. Now a foul on Florida State and the reach in.
Oh, great defense by Chelsea Nelson to come
Really
over
good.
there and get a block on Leticia Romero. Letty Romero had a free driving lane. Nelson comes out of nowhere to swat it away. And the foul whistled on Shatrice White. That's her 4th.
So she sits down.
Kayla
Thomas comes in.
Yeah, Thomas back into the game, I think, for defense here. A little more athletic. Can afford to be a little more aggressive on the defensive end.
Spencer's been tremendous tonight. Here's a knockaway
Big
now
steal
for Ivy Slaughter. Oh, and she missed the layup. And that one sequence typifies tonight for Florida State.
It's about the way that the night has gone for Florida State. They make a big play. Slaughter does exactly what she needs to and then just can't quite finish it.
Here she is on the run out.
Made that layup a million times, but couldn't knock it down there. Florida State 0 of their last 6.
Good hustle by Matarine there, too, to clean up the board there.
Brittany Brown goes ahead and fouls Maya Spencer there. Can't afford to let much more time run off the clock. Down 5.
Spencer, an 81% free throw shooter, and so Florida State's got to hope that she drops to 50% really here.
Yeah, problem if you're Florida State is everybody out there on the floor shoots the ball extremely well. The worst free throw shooter is actually Ashley Williams, but she's perfect from the floor tonight. Just hasn't been to the line very much.
Well, she does miss the first, so it'll stay a 2-possession game. But Florida State needs a bucket in a hurry. 40 seconds to go.
Good defense there by Wilson.
Florida State's being a little too patient, it seems like.
Florida State got a reset on the shot clock. Not sure why. Certainly didn't hit the rim there.
What are they going to look at?
Not sure here. Timeout was called apparently by someone. Maybe they're going to look at whether that should be reset. And I do not believe that it should have been a reset unless it didn't start appropriately on the last dead ball.
Well, they've got to get this right, but that said, the shot clock is not the issue for Florida State.
No, for
the
sure.
Scoreboard is 64-58 NC State.
Florida State will not be working the ball around to milk the shot clock here. They need points, and they need them quickly. Oh, they're actually looking at who last touched the ball, and they're going to give that ball now to NC State. They're going to say that Amani Wright was the last player to touch the ball.
So
sure, wasn't expecting that, but that's a big call. NC State now goes to the free throw line again. Up 6.
Well, that makes more sense that they were looking at that. That is a pivotal call and gives it to NC State.
And would allow the shot clock to be reset on the alternating or changing possession.
There it is, a 3-possession game now with just 32.3 left.
NC State on the verge of pulling off a second huge upset here early in ACC play.
And it's been a nearly 4-minute scoring drought for FSU. They've gone ice cold at the wrong time. The Wolfpack working not just on 2 top 10 wins, but will continue the onslaught that is the ACC because 6 of their first 7 conference games are against ranked foes, including a next game will be against Miami coming up for NC State.
Now they'll go home to play Miami, then at Wake Forest, at a ranked Syracuse team. Duke also a ranked opponent, and then Clemson, who's receiving votes.
And Florida State, it's not like there's a bunch of slouches ahead for FSU either with Duke, Louisville, Syracuse. Now those are home games, but you still got to make a trip to Tobacco Road to see Carolina and also to Clemson in that next 5-game sequence.
No easy wins in the ACC, that's for sure.
Well, Florida State has shot well from beyond the arc in this game, but that's when you're running your offense being selective. When you need desperation threes, that's a little bit different story.
Yeah.
Really, Romero has been the main weapon from beyond the arc. Amani Wright certainly very capable of heating up.
And for the game, Florida State shooting just 35% from the floor overall. Well below their season average of 48%. Credit NC State for a great defensive effort, forcing Florida State into difficult shots.
Well, and again, 7 free throw attempts for Florida State and 21 for NC State. They'll go back to the stripe. Brittany Brown checks out, and that stat has about been reversed most of this year for Florida State.
Florida State, one of the top teams in the country at getting to the free throw line. Not so here tonight at the Tucker Center. They were 5th nationally in free throws attempted and in free throws made, first in the conference until tonight.
So a 10-point game, just not enough time left for Florida State. NC State shocks Notre Dame. They won't just be receiving votes when the next poll comes out. Winning on the road at the number 6 team in the country as Romero takes the 3.
Just not enough time left on the clock now for Florida State. Can trade 2s for 3s, but not going to be enough as Westmore and his Wolfpack team are going to come on the road.
Pick up his 75th victory as NC State's head coach. And this is 4th season. 28 years overall, 26 winning records, and 22 20-win seasons.
NC State doing it all from the free throw line. They have not scored a field goal in the last 4 minutes. All of their points coming from the free throw line. They are now 20 of 25 from the line. Florida State, perfect, but they've only shot 7.
The knockaway, and now time will tick down on an NC State upset at Florida State. 70-61, the Wolfpack over FSU. An impressive showing defensively and offensively for NC State as they snap what had been the school record winning streak for Florida State, had matched it anyway, and the Noles suffered just their 2nd defeat of the season.
Yeah, Florida State was outmatched here today. NC State coming on the road, pulling off a big win here in Tallahassee.
FSU ascends to number 6, highest ranking in school history, and promptly gets knocked off 70-61. The Noles dropped to 13-2, 1-1 in the league. The Wolfpack improved to 12-3, 2-0 in the ACC. For Melissa Bruner, our entire crew, Tom Block saying so long from FSU, where NC State pulls a 2nd straight top 10 upset. So long from FSU.